Hey, what's up guys? I'm Adam Southey and this is the Casual Fridays REI YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about how to sell rural vacant land. Before we do that though, if you like what you see, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. We're putting out new videos each and every week to help you through your land investing journey, so you're not going to want to miss any of that. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we want to go over is your pricing, because there's really only two things that will prevent a piece of land from selling. One is having bad access, and the second is being overpriced. So you want to really make sure you get that right straight from the beginning. And the easiest way to do that is to check comparables. So what we like to do is we're using the free website landsofamerica.com. It's really good because they have a mapping function that you can zoom in on your parcel and kind of see what's around you and what's for sale and see how much everything else is listed for. And once you find your property, if there's not anything that's very similar or close, you can zoom out and start finding like-minded properties that are really similar to yours, right? You don't want to compare your 40 acre that's full of trees to a 5 acre that's all desert, right? So you want to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Also, if you're buying land like we teach in our land flipping blueprint, you're gonna have a lot of room, because typically we're buying this stuff for 35% of market value or less, right? And so that means you've got a wide range of what you can price that at. We typically like to focus on getting market value, so we're pricing it right at about 100%, but you can always price it lower, flip it faster, and make really good money. All right, so just take that in mind. These properties can sell really fast, especially if you're going to do the rest of the stuff that we talk about. So getting market value really isn't hard. And it doesn't take any longer of time either. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff later that really will help you zone in on your marketing and it'll help you get the best price. All right, so speaking of that, we want to go over your next thing, which is going to be your photos and maybe some video, right? Photos are some of the most important aspect of your sales process because almost everyone starts their search online. And so you've got to really be able to paint a picture, get these people attention and draw them in, and great photos, high quality photos, a bunch of different angles will really help do this. One thing that really bothers me is when I see people trying to sell land and the only thing that they have up are just parcel maps that they took off of Google Earth or whatever GIS system they're using, right? That tells you nothing, and it says that the person selling the land is lazy. All right, this is really important because people are going to be spending a lot of money on your land and you want them to want it, right? So what we typically do is we'll hire someone off of Craigslist, off of Facebook, a local photographer. We'll have them go out, we'll have them take photos of the road so people can see what kind of access there are, all the trees or whatever's special about that land. Like sometimes if there's a really unique tree, we'll get them to go take a photo of that. If it's like a desert piece of land, I love a good cactus photo, right? Have the person get low, get the cactus up front, kind of blur everything else out in the back, right? That's special, that's unique, it'll get someone's attention. Get photos from up above too if you can. That's when a drone photographer will really come in handy because they can fly their drone up above the land and shoot down at different angles. And they can even make a good video for you. Video really sells, people like seeing that. So make sure you spend a little bit of money. This isn't super expensive, like I've paid anywhere from $25 per property on up to maybe $200 if you're shooting a drone, right? It's not crazy expensive. And you can find really good drone photographers on droners.io. You can put in your city and what kind of project you're looking for and your price, and people will respond to it. So it's a really good option. After you get your photos, maybe some video, right? You want to write some killer ad copy. Again, we're trying to get their attention and sell the dream because these people haven't been to the land yet. They're only focusing online for right now. So what that means is you've got to write story that sells. So when someone clicks on your ad, you don't want to just say, hey, I got 5 acres for sale and I'm selling it for $10,000. Call me, right? That's not gonna work. You've got to paint the picture. What's special about the land? How far is it from local cities? Does it have water? How do you get water? Does it have electricity? How do you get electricity? What kind of memories can families create, right? Can they camp out there, roast marshmallows over a fire, underneath the stars? Is it perfect for shooting guns or hunting, riding your four-wheelers? Are there mountains? Is there snow? Like, get descriptive. The more you put in, the more you sell the dream, the better off you'll be. Also put directions in there. Put it from the closest city or cities, right? Tell them everything that they need to know. All right, once you've got good photos, you've got videos, you've priced it right, and you've got a killer ad copy, you want to put what we focus on in our training is be everywhere. You never know where your buyer's going to come from, so it's super important that you put it everywhere. That way they can't help but see it, all right? And so some of the most important things we do, right? The first one, the easiest one, is to hire a realtor. Now, not every realtor will take your listing, especially if they're on the lower end of the price range, because they've got to make money. And if they're taking a $5,000 listing, a $10,000 listing, by the time they pay their brokerage fees, their marketing fees, their listing fees, all that, they're probably not gonna make anything. And so it's not important for them to take that listing, right? So what we find is typically about that $30,000 price range and above, there will be a land broker in that area who will take your listing. And you want to make sure that you're focusing on a land specific agent, someone who deals in land, not your traditional house realtor, right? You want the person that spends most of their time in the woods. When they show up to meet you, they've got on mud boots and maybe a gun on their hip, right? These are people who live and breathe land, farms, ranches, hunting. They know it like the back of their hand. And a lot of those offices are generational, meaning like grandpa started the business and then dad took it over. And now the son or daughter is being prepped to take it over, right? They have a database full of buyers and they can sell your land really well. Right? That's the easiest way. Let them do the work, you sit back, collect the checks. But there's gonna be times when you wanna sell it yourself, so you've gotta know how to do that. And so going back to our be everywhere, the first thing we always do are neighbor letters. Neighbor letters are a killer way to get leads to sell your land. Basically what you're doing there is you are finding all the information of the people who live around you. I typically will do everybody whose land touches my parcel, north, south, east, west, even in the corners, like if it's a perfect square and that just barely touches, I'll send them a letter. And so that's what we do. We actually send them a letter. It's very personable. It's not written like a corporation. It's just like, hey, my name's Adam. I own the piece of land next to yours. I'm gonna sell it. I thought because your property touches my property that you may be interested in it. Give me a call. We'll discuss pricing. Right? Who wouldn't want to be able to add on to the property they already have? We do really well with this. Second, Craigslist. Craigslist is a really good way to get leads, but you can't just post one time. You've got to be proactive about selling on Craigslist. So what I do is pick the 10 closest cities to your property, and then we will market roughly 5, 10, 15 times a day spread across those cities. Now Craigslist, you got a special way that you need to do your ad, right? You want to put enough to get their information, but not so much that they have no reason to call you, because that's kind of the goal here, is to get them to call you. That way you can talk to them, build the rapport, and sell it to them. So typically what I'll do is I will put a brief summary about the property, kind of like I was telling you about in the copy, like roasting marshmallows over the fire, riding your four-wheeler, hunting, creating memories, right? I'll tell how big the land is. I will tell where the closest cities are, what the utility situation's like, and then no price. Like if they want to know the price, they're gonna have to call me or email me. Make sure you're doing that, put it in on different cities, be proactive about it. Now you can get people off of Upwork to do this for you really cheap. I personally am not the one posting these ads, and I won't do it. And chances are, if you're left to do it, you'll get bored with it. You'll get tired of it. You may do it for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, but then you're gonna quit. And so it's really cheap. I'm talking 30, 40 cents an ad on up to $1 per ad. And these people, that's their full-time job. That's what they do. So let them do it. Second, Facebook. Facebook groups, Facebook sponsored ads. Make sure you're sharing this stuff on your wall, because you may have some friends that want to buy land and you just didn't know about it. But also join the local Facebook groups where your property is. Like, there's gonna be rules in the group, so make sure you're following those rules. But if it doesn't say you can't list land, then list your land in there, because there's gonna be people in the community who are looking for land. Now, with Facebook, you want to do what's called a pattern interrupt, especially in these groups, right? People are going on Facebook groups, not necessarily looking, these buy-sell trade groups, not looking for land. You know, they're looking for a lawnmower, a weed eater, whatever, right? Something like that. And so you want to interrupt their pattern of looking for that by something flashy, by telling them everything, giving them a ton of information to really get their brain going. So I'll typically put my entire ad in there and then let them reach out to you. You'll get a lot of comments on Facebook. Some of them also always won't be great. So just deal with that, confront the haters straight on, and then make sure you're responding to everybody who shows any kind of interest. Same thing with sponsored ads. You can actually go on Facebook and draw a radius around your land, 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles, whatever that's going to be, and you can pay to have that get out there. The sponsored ad that you see coming down your wall, right, it can be one of those. Now, this can get tricky. You can spend a lot of money on it because they do pay-per-view, they do pay-per-click. Like, set a budget for your day if you're going to do that, right? $5 a day in ad spend, $10, $20, whatever you're comfortable with. But get out there, put it on all social media, right? You can do YouTube. If you had a drone video made, put that on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, on any of that stuff, any social media platform, make sure you're posting it on there. Let's not forget the land websites, like the big ones, the big names that everyone uses, which are land.com. Land.com is kind of the main company, but they own Land of America, Land and Farm, Land and Watch. So make sure that you're posting on there. Now that can be kind of expensive on a monthly basis. So if it's in your budget and you have the room, then make sure you want to post on there. This is a great spot. This is where a lot of legit land buyers are looking. And so if you can afford that, then make sure you've got that on there. And then groups. So we're talking about be everywhere, get creative. I'm not just saying Facebook groups, I'm like any group. Let's say you've got a piece of land that you think is really good for off-roading, for overlanders, right? Try and go on Google, search for overlanding groups, see what comes up. There's may or may not be a forum, but if you can find the forum, go in there and start posting, get to know the people in there, and you'll find buyers. All right, guys, so I hope you're seeing like the idea is just be everywhere, because once you've got it priced right, you've got good access and you're showing that off in your photos, in your videos, and you're selling the dream through your ad copy, and then you get out and you post it everywhere. You're letting the neighbors know you've hired a realtor, you've got it on Craigslist, Facebook, all the social medias, you've got it on land.com. If you are everywhere, you should have zero problem selling this land. Now, unless you're just letting people call you and not responding. So let's not forget about that, right? Respond to everyone who makes an inquiry, even if you don't think they're serious, because you never know, but just reach out, make it happen. You shouldn't have any problem selling this land. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. Leave me a comment, make sure you hit that like button, and we will be back next week. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon.